all posed, so that we can actually then transition into real dialogue. You can ask any questions, you can one-on-one conversations, satiate your curiosity. But there's two people who didn't introduce themselves.
I'm Bridget Guerra. I work in admission, and I also help Callie in teaching and learning.
I'm Lauren Dominguez. I work in the dorms. I'm actually Kiona's dorm mom, so I'll talk with you later. I'm also an Athenian alum and a student of Callion's, and I'm Catholic.
The first question, we're brainstorming questions. The first question actually, when I was brainstorming what kind of panel to put together, it actually came out, Margaret Niles and I were talking, and she said, you know what, this probably might be a good seed question to pose to the class, and the compassion question really came as a seed question that all of you liked. But I want to start there, and we can go down this way and come back around for the next set of questions. And the first question was, what does compassion mean to you?
Compassion to me as a Buddhist is a reference over and over to our Buddha nature, which I believe everybody has, meaning finding compassion isn't outside of us as we're reaching out to understanding the world or each other, but it's something that is already living and breathing inside us. And it's called lots of things. Buddhists call it Buddha nature. Secular people can call it compassion. Others will call it divine energy or beloved energy. So to me, compassion is this center thing that exists in all of us.
For me, compassion, in Catholic, we like to use the root words using Latin. If you break that off, it means in the journey. And each of us go on a journey. Passion, we look at Christ, but even in our lives too, we do go through a journey of faith or just a journey of life. And we're constantly trying to figure out, trying to understand as well, so in the journey.
So for me as a Sikh, compassion is something that is a virtue of the mind. It is sort of something that we feel from the heart, and it's something that from that feeling pushes us to do something, or sort of invokes us to do something beyond just feeling. And in the Hindu religion, and the Sikh religion, and people in the Indian region, they have put compassion at various different levels. There's just the basic charity, which is compassion of how we feel towards each other when we see someone hurting. But more than that, it's something that goes beyond how you feel and what you do. So that is the extent of compassion. It goes a little bit further than just how you feel.
We've done 7 compassion retreats this year at San Damiano Retreat Center. And we've had the Abbas from Buddha Gate. We've had Rabbi Dan from Beth Haim Congregation here in Danville. We've had Satya Kalra from Patu Anandam, which is a Hindu ministry here in Danville, and the Islamic Sufis. So we've been looking through the eyes of paganism and Baha'is and Sikhism, and Dr. Baines was our teacher for the Sikhism and compassion, and we're having our last retreat on December 1st. So that's a term that's really been complexified for me this year, as we've been reading through the 12 Steps to a Life of Compassion by Karen Armstrong. Sometimes I like to go to the Hebrew word chesed. Other times I think there's other traditions that have lived up different aspects that depends on what the need for compassion is at the moment.
Compassion for me is about giving people the benefit of the doubt, and seeing and judging people not just by what you see in the moment, but by trying to understand them as a whole person, with experiences and with fears and joys, and then trying to understand that we behave in such a way that we can speak to that whole picture and not just one tiny little glimpse. And I think compassion is the root of justice. because it is that compassion that we feel for other people that moves us to work toward justice for them and for all people as well.
When I first started here at the Kenyon School, I think 11 years ago, the curriculum in the 9th grade was a world religion curriculum. And over time, that curriculum changed to more of a traditional history curriculum, and that religious study kind of got lost. We still in the middle school go, Temple Sinai is one of the places we visit, the center, the Islamic Center in Oakland. We still do like that Abrahamic Ark Day in the middle school, but in upper school there hasn't been that. And over the years, we surveyed students what classes they want, and every year we want a religious history class, we want a history religion class, a religious studies class. And so this class is a newer iteration of the ones that we've had in the past. And the core of that, when we ask students why, the question that came to the surface is, why do I believe? Why should I believe? And that generated this question, which is, why do you believe? Please, Rabbi.
So my most absolute honest answer to this is that it feels better than to not. That it feels better to have faith that things work out okay. It feels better to have hope that things will work out okay. It feels better to have faith in other people than it does to not.
I play with that word belief a lot. In Greek, it's pistis. It's actually better translated in English as trust. Trust. I view my religious experiences and even my interfaith prayer with a lot of the different traditions in our council through a scientific lens and through my kind of integral philosophy lens as well. So it's there's this great quote by Thomas Aquinas that if you make a mistake about creation, you'll make a mistake about God. So that's one of my kind of testing theologies of that. I'm always questioning what I believe, what I trust, what I have faith in. The universe has been conspiring for 13.87 billion years to bring us to this moment. So that's what I trust.
I believe, based on my own teachings, that as a Sikh, we all believe that all human beings, we all have this direct link to a bigger source, the light. If you will, for a second, think of a sun and a lot of its rays going out. The center of it is God and the light, the main source, and then each one of us have a little, light that somehow, helps us connect back to the source. The reason I believe is I feel that if we are not believing in the source, we dim our light somehow. We become a little darker. And the light starts kind of, dimming down. And for one reason, for yourself, you believe so that you can keep your light, your yourself lit up and connected to the source. Also, I believe, because if I don't believe, then I kind of fail to see each one of you as also a source connected to the very same light. So if my thoughts are darkened, if I don't believe, if I don't feel that light, if my light dims, when I'm not connected to the source, the light, then I'm darkened and I cannot see. And when I cannot see, if I stop believing, then I can't see. If I can't see, then I cannot see the light in everybody else. So for a Sikh, we believe in this source. We believe and we actually connect ourselves to the source so that the source can shine our lights brighter. And so we can also keep believing that each one of us belongs to the same source. In that sense, if I'm disconnected from my source, then I'm also disconnected from all the other light that he is shining in the world. So for that reason, I kind of believe in that source, because there is some goodness, and that's how I
I'm a visual person. I need something tangible. And as I see first, for me, our Lord Jesus, who came into this world and able to show to the world who he was and go to these different sacred sites, you know, to say, Holy Land, is this reality that we cannot express. Sometimes, yes, we cannot give the full answer, but something going to the unknown. I know that this person is alongside with me as I go back to the compassion in the journey as well.
Mhm.
So alongside with them, that I know this person is in the journey. That's what I believe.
I have two answers. One is I believe because it works. So there's a lot of Newtonian physics in Buddhism, cause and effect. So if I do something bad to people, it's going to come back around to me, just not as a religious or spiritual practice, it just happens that way. And that's what I've seen. And when I do good, reach out, give time to someone, it comes back around to me. And the purpose isn't for things to come back around to me, but I just have found what I've learned in Buddhism is, for example, when I show compassion, suffering decreases. Works for me. And they had this other, what was the other one? When I meditate, my compassion increases. So that's just me, and I would never tell anybody to believe what I believe, but I believe what I believe because it works and because I keep seeing it. The Dalai Lama is famously quoted as saying, if something doesn't make sense to you in Buddhism, don't believe it. Like, absolutely not. That's a journey toward a bad place, is to follow something that doesn't make sense to you. And the other answer to the question is, when I heard about a shooting today, the minute I heard about it, I didn't believe. In that moment, that was like, what am I doing? Like, how, nothing I'm doing is working if there's another young person in that much pain, creating that much suffering for that many families and community members. So yeah, I'm like on that fence of reality where, like, if Buddhism really worked and we all just prayed for compassion and the end of suffering, wouldn't it just happen? And so I'll recover from today, and I'll go back to what I was doing, but sometimes I don't believe. It's hard.
One of the interesting things in this course, most history of religion courses are taught in a way that feeds into the narrative that organized religion is bad, or the way the course is constructed was, we looked at primary sources along the way, and students, I think, will walk away from the course believing and understanding that human nature is what is to blame for some of the negativity that we've had in life. And it's not religion, but motivations like greed and other things throughout history that have caused the violence and things they've seen that are unfairly attributed to faith. And so that's been a great thing. And yet the question remains for the students around, what does it mean for the practical implications of religion outside of one's life? And so the question was, how does religion affect your life outside of practice?
How does it affect my life? It is my vocation. So it is my job as an interfaith chaplain that works in the streets of the Tenderloin. I work with the homeless, and I work with families whose children are dying in this place called George Mark Children's House. And so how does religion affect my life? It very often impacts how people are handling the chaos and the suffering and the acute pain they're experiencing. Religion impacts people. Sometimes it impacts them in ways that surprise me, where someone in a destitute situation, like, they're so grateful for their religion. They say to me, I could never have made it on the streets except that I have faith in Jesus Christ. I'm like, but you're homeless, right? but boy, do I see their faith. And other times, people are in the hospital and they're really mad at their religion. That their interpretation of what's happening is that I'm being punished, and so I'm in this really bad medical situation. So that's how religion impacts my life. Is it's my job to pay attention and to support people's journey into asking more questions of themselves about how their religion is, or their lack of religion, or their resistance to religion, how it's impacting them.
Me, I'm actually assigned at my home parish. What do you mean? My family is there. My parents, my brothers, my cousin. So it has a unique thing to do because I'm in, say, at a family party, and then I get a call, Father, can you go see someone who needs anointing? I have to drop everything I have to go see them. And me as a Catholic priest, I don't have a wife and children, so I cannot say, oh, I cannot go visit you. I got to stay with my son to be with a party. No, I cannot do that. So it does play a huge role. And when I go visit the sick or talk to a classmate, and I'm going to do a funeral tomorrow for my high school classmate's son who died at age 4. So I had to be there not as a classmate, but as a priest. And that reality is, words cannot describe, I mean, but knowing that what I say, it's not my own doing, so I forget what I even said to her. But I know that she said that I'm thankful that you're there. And it's being in the present moment and going back to that compassion to be with them in that journey. Sometimes I cannot give them an answer, but knowing that being there present can give them that sense of hope, but knowing that Christ is along with them as well.
For me, it actually gives me hope and also gives me reasons for why things are. For example, it says in Sikhism that how can I call a hater bad? Because that hater is also from the same source that I am from. Who shall I call bad and who shall I call good, since we are all part of the exact same force, the exact same source. And so when something horrible happens, or when I see something that's wrong, whether it is directly affecting me or anyone else, it helps give meaning to it. For example, today's shooting that happened at Saugus, you sort of kind of see that as having faith. Religion then makes you step back a little bit and tell yourself not to blame that 15-year-old, not to, worry about the person that he hurt, but also worry about that person too, because was he a messenger of God as well? Was he trying also to show us that we need to wake up? Was God trying to, show us something? It has to be all connected to God. For me, everything that's done in this world as a Sikh is at the order of God. It's his doing. Both the doer and the one that got harmed, or many that got harmed today, are all part of God's interesting plan. Is it God's message to us to wake up, change a few things? Is it a way for us to slow down and sit back and reflect and see and say what's going on here? Shall we all back out a little bit and reflect on this and see what needs to change so we don't have this happen? So for me, religion gives me having understanding that all of this is God's plan, or me being religious, understanding that I am just one object in God's big plan of things. It sort of gives me more meaning and reason to stand up and do something.
So I started parish ministry about 15 years ago, and it took me about 6 months to realize I was an interfaith